I never imagined the house of God would become the place where my world shattered. The slap landed with a crack that echoed off the wooden pews and stained glass windows of Riverton Grace Community Church. My stepfather, Pastor Thomas Langford, stood tall at the pulpit, his face twisted in controlled fury, while the entire congregation of over 4,000 watched in stunned silence. My cheek burned, tears stung my eyes, but I refused to back down. My phone, clutched in my hand, held months of recordings that could bring their empire down. Then my stepbrother Noah lunged forward, his deacon's badge glinting, and snatched the device from my grasp with practiced precision. "She's unstable," he announced calmly to the sea of faces. Grief has clouded her mind. That moment under the cross changed everything. But to understand how a grieving daughter became the whistleblower who dismantled a respected religious institution, I need to take you back 3 years to when my life in suburban Riverton, Ohio, first began to unravel. My name is Sophia Reynolds. At 28, I work as a senior financial analyst at Apex Financial Group downtown. Numbers have always been my anchor, clean, honest, unforgiving in their truth. People, especially family, are far more complicated. It started after my mother passed from cancer. Dad remarried quickly, finding solace in the arms of Laura Langford, the elegant coordinator of church charities. Thomas Langford wasn't just any pastor. He led Riverton Grace, a sprawling megachurch where executives in tailored suits sat beside factory workers, where local politicians quoted scripture during campaigns, and where the offering plates overflowed every Sunday. The church was the heartbeat of our community, hosting youth programs, mission trips to Africa, food drives that fed hundreds. From the outside, we looked like the ideal blended family in our spacious colonial home on Maple Grove Lane. Thomas commanded the pulpit in crisp navy suits, his voice booming with authority about faith, stewardship, and God's abundance. Laura greeted parishioners with perfect smiles, her pearl earrings catching the light as she organized galas that raised millions for kingdom work. Noah, Thomas's 26-year-old son, had risen quickly to deacon, his sharp features and confident stride making him the golden boy. He handled much of the financial oversight, counting offerings with fingers that moved too smoothly, like someone shuffling cards in a high-stakes game. I noticed the cracks early. Sunday dinners became tense performances around the long oak table. Thomas would lead grace, his hand heavy on my shoulder. Laura served pot roast while praising the latest youth mission success. Noah sat at his father's right, Rolex flashing as he discussed building expansions. Meanwhile, when I mentioned needing basic repairs for my reliable but aging Toyota Camry, Thomas lectured on faithful stewardship and living modestly. Their new luxury SUV sat gleaming in the driveway, a blessing from grateful donors. They said, my job at Apex became my sanctuary. Spreadsheets revealed patterns others missed. Late one evening, reviewing client accounts, I spotted irregularities that mirrored the church's public financial disclosures, shell company transactions routing funds through vague, administrative trusts. My pulse quickened as connections formed. The Grace Legacy Trust, registered quietly in Delaware with Noah as director, funneled money intended for African orphanages into private accounts. That night, I began recording discreetly, hiding my phone during closed-door family meetings in Thomas's wood-paneled study. Their voices came through clearly despite the muffling, discussions of redirecting mission donations for wise kingdom investments, code for offshore transfers, and personal luxuries. Noah's BMW appeared shortly after a large pledge drive. Thomas's golf club memberships and Laura's designer wardrobe didn't match their modest salaries. I documented it all, screenshots, timestamps, whispered admissions. The sheep give generously when wrapped in scripture, Thomas once said with a chuckle. God provides for those who serve faithfully, including us. The control crept in slowly. That blouse might distract during service. Sophia, Laura suggested one Sunday. Your friend from work seems too secular. Perhaps distance yourself, Thomas advised. Noah questioned my dating life, my social media, even my therapy sessions after Mom's death. Every choice funneled through their moral lens. 2 months ago, dating Alex, a genuine software engineer I'd met at a downtown cafe, brought it to a head. Your stepbrother visited my office, Alex confessed over dinner. Worried. He warned me about your family's concerns for my spiritual fit in Riverton. I confronted Noah in the church parking lot after evening service. Designer clothes from donations filled his trunk, items unlikely to reach the poor. Stay out of my relationship, I warned. Voice trembling. He smiled pastorally. We're protecting your well-being, sister. Alex isn't part of the flock. What would the congregation think? His words chilled me. In this family, Thomas spoke for God. Surveillance tightened. Laura accidentally opened my mail. Thomas activated family tracking on my phone for safety. Noah's appeared everywhere, gym, grocery, even Apex lobby. I recorded more. Elder meetings excluding outsiders. Collection money diverted. Phone calls about Cayman accounts. One captured Thomas clearly. Route 40% of the Kenya Orphan Fund through Grace Legacy. Secure our future as wise stewards. My evidence mounted. But the real fracture came when they opened a credit card in my name, $18,000 in charges matching Noah's new gadgets. Confronting Thomas privately. He didn't flinch. Consider it your tithe contribution. We've provided for you. This is fraud, I shot back. Prove it, he replied coolly. Who do you think the sheriff and mayor listen to on Sundays? He'd underestimated me. As a forensic-savvy analyst, I'd backed everything up, cloud servers, mail drives, hidden recordings. The stage was set for confrontation. The pressure built like a storm gathering over the Ohio River Valley. Sunday services at Riverton Grace felt increasingly suffocating. Thomas's sermons on honoring parents and resisting worldly temptations hit too close. His eyes lingering on me from the pulpit. I sat in the third row, phone recording silently in my pocket, capturing every collection pass where Noah's hands dipped into plates with subtle precision. Skimming bills into his jacket, Alex stood by me, but the cost mounted. His company lost church-affiliated contracts. His landlord, a longtime deacon, issued eviction notice. They're isolating you, he said one night, holding me close. Isolation was the point, classic tactic to silence doubt. Yet doubt spread quietly. A few parishioners whispered about delayed mission reports, missing thank yous from Africa. I expanded recordings, hushed calls about handling inquisitive members, photos of midnight cash withdrawals from church ATMs. Mrs. Ellis, a sweet widow in the choir, once asked about the full audit during coffee hour. Noah dismissed her gently. Faith doesn't demand proof. Sister. Behind closed doors. Recorded later. Send her a fruit basket and suggest she focus on prayer. Doubt erodes devotion. The breaking point arrived that fateful Sunday evening service. The sanctuary glowed warmly. Families in their best attire filling the pews. Thomas delivered a fiery message about wolves in sheep's clothing. During closing prayer, as amens murmured, I stood. The congregation deserves truth. My voice cut through. Heads turned. Thomas's composure cracked as I approached the pulpit. Phone raised. Your tithes for African orphans, diverted to personal accounts through shell companies. I have proof. The slap came lightning fast. His palm connected, sending me stumbling. Gasps erupted. My cheek throbbed. Blood tasting metallic. 3 months of recordings, I pressed on, holding the phone high. Proof the Kenya funds built Noah's lifestyle, not schools. Noah strode down the aisle authoritatively. He twisted my wrist. Phone clattering. Snatching at midfall. He announced smoothly, "My sister suffers from grief-induced episode. Prayers for her healing." He dragged me toward the side exit, whispering harshly, "I've monitored your backups for weeks." Cloud wiped remotely. No evidence left. Laura waited with my things. "You're leaving tonight." "Your father agrees." Thomas followed. "Embarrassing the family damages God's work. Mental health struggles are real. We'll get you help." Outside, chaos brewed. Several phones had captured the slap. Alex waited in the lot with Jordan Hale, a sharp federal prosecutor specializing in nonprofit fraud. "Sophia, we need to talk," Jordan said, extending her hand. News of the incident spread like wildfire across Riverton. By Monday, my Apex keycard failed. Supervisor Tom met me apologetically. "Calls from Pastor Langford about your stability. He's influential with clients. Take 2 weeks paid leave, sort this." Friends distance themselves. Choir invites dried up. Even my stylist canceled. The Langfords' reach extended everywhere. Alex faced business losses. Jordan explained, "Intimidation to silence you. But it shows fear." She was right. I'd mailed a drive to my cousin in Colorado, uploaded encrypted files at work, hidden a backup device. A restraining order filing came Wednesday, claims of harassment, with doctored photos and affidavits from loyal deacons painting me erratic. Hearing Friday. But Judge Langford, Thomas's cousin, recused after Jordan arrived with federal oversight. The substitute judge denied the order, citing obstruction risks. Mrs. Ellis called Thursday night secretly. "I've tracked 17 families who questioned leadership and vanished. Jobs lost. Reputations ruined. I photographed Noah's screen last month. Operation Legacy, spreadsheet showing transfers. Sent to Jordan." Hope flickered. Empires on lies have cracks. Pressure applied there could topple them. I analyzed the photo, a $3.2 million wire from orphan funds scheduled soon to Cayman accounts. International wire fraud, FBI gold. Thursday board meeting loomed. Office empty for hours. My old choir key still worked. Thomas never revoked it. Overconfident. Slipping in under cover of darkness. Heart pounding through familiar halls now alien. I reached Noah's office. Password predictable, a favorite Proverbs verse. Files copied rapidly, transfers. Emails showing Noah plotting to blame Thomas if exposed. Insurance dirt. Footsteps interrupted. Hiding behind the couch. I overheard. Sophia's persistent. "Consider psychiatric hold, Dr. Mills owes us favors." They left. I grabbed my original phone from the drawer, wiped but recoverable, and escaped to Jordan's waiting car with agents. Enough for warrants, the lead agent confirmed. The strike came Friday dawn. But Noah fled after a tip. Cash and bags gone. Thomas arrested calmly in his study, proclaiming persecution. The community reeled. Federal agents swarmed the church, Langford home, and Noah's upscale condo simultaneously that dramatic morning. News helicopters circled as Thomas emerged in cuffs, cameras capturing his religious persecution claims. Noah's escape dominated headlines. Deacon vanishes amid church fraud probe. Jordan updated me. "We need him before assets vanish." Ideas? Knowing his arrogance, I suggested checking the church. He'd return for leverage. Marcus, no. Alex, and I arrived to find Noah barricaded in the sanctuary. Live streaming to followers, victim of conspiracy by my jealous stepsister. Proof of her instability. He displayed stolen medical records from Mom's passing, therapy notes, anxiety scripts, twisting them into paranoia claims. The crowd murmured. Some swayed. I entered despite warnings. One chance to surrender. Noah. I called down the aisle. FBI has your insurance folder. Offshore trails. The email calling Thomas a useful fool. His mask slipped as I played the audio of them plotting my institutionalization. Outrage surged. He lunged. Agents restrained him mid-scream. The stream captured it all, his downfall broadcast live. Arrests followed. Thomas faced initial charges, Noah. Captured fleeing. Hit with wire fraud. Laundering. Conspiracy. But more emerged from his safe, monitoring data on 15 parishioners. My paranoia was pattern recognition. Local coverage exploded. Woman exposes pastor stepfather's fraud. Yet consequences lingered, reputation hits. Job uncertainty. The church board called an emergency meeting 2 weeks post-arrest. Thomas, on bail, planned a defiant address. I arrived early with Jordan and investigators, laptop ready. Sanctuary packed. Media in back. Thomas entered regally. Accused like Paul. Persecuted for faith. Government targets our influence. I stood. Evidence from federal warrant. Projecting dual books. Reported versus. Actual $800K orphanage collections. Only $60,000 delivered. Building fund millions diverted to Grace Legacy. Security footage showed midnight cash handling. Audio played. Thomas mocking donors. Sheep empty wallets wrapped in scripture. Congregation erupted. Shouts. Tears. Demands for resignation. Identity theft cases surfaced. Prayer cards misused for credit fraud. Major donor CEO Robert Kane confronted. $2.5 million for missions stolen? Thomas's microphone cut as chaos peaked. FBI set up victim intake in fellowship hall. Lines formed rapidly. Later, alone at the altar where betrayal peaked, I placed a photo of smiling African children in new uniforms, funded finally by recovered assets. This was always the point, I whispered to the empty space. Deacon Ellis approached. Sorry we didn't see sooner. Truth reveals in time, I replied. Would I return? No, the scars ran deep. But the church could heal under honest hands. 6 months later, trials gripped Riverton. I testified days on end, detailing systematic theft spanning years. Prosecutor closed. They stole more than money, trust, faith, hope. Jury convicted swiftly. Noah, 14 years federal. No early release for heinous betrayal. Thomas, 9 years. Considering age. Laura faced civil suits. Assets seized. Fled town. Healing followed. Kane's company funded full decade audit, recovering $4.1 million for victims and legitimate causes. African orphanage videos brought tears. Mrs. Ellis led interim board, selling excess luxury for community food bank. God needs hearts, not gold, she said. Dad called months later, voice cracking. I failed protecting you. Lost after your mother. Forgive me. Reconciliation started slowly, monthly coffees rebuilding trust. Thomas shattered. Alex and I relocated to Denver eventually. Painful memories too heavy. Jordan helped me join FTC nonprofit fraud unit, investigating similar schemes nationwide. One last church visit. Humbler sanctuary. Open books. Clear collection glass. I placed the children's photo again. Deacon Ellis asked if I'd return. Glad it's real again, I said. That's enough. A prison letter from Noah later admitted more victims exposed by my stand. Linked schemes in other churches halted. I burned it. Some wounds don't mend. Today. Quiet Denver life with Alex. Our small church feeds Saturday crowds. Pastor drives old sedan. Transparent finances. Searching Riverton Grace online shows thriving honest leadership. Reputation mending. Justice arrives through persistence. Evidence. Courage speaking when silenced. The cross under which crimes occurred still stands. Reminder truth endures beyond liars. What would you risk exposing hypocrisy in sacred spaces?